welcome back to my channel. Pix here from 1036. Today I wanted to make an additional video to the Blazons. I made a video maybe a half a year ago or so on Blazons, how to do them best, and Blazons are overall pretty tedious, but they give you tons of good buffs. Just to kind of go over them again, the set buffs are amazing that you can get. Even if you can't get them up to level 20, if you have them all at level 1, let's say here, all at level 1, then you still get set buffs. So make sure you at least get the set buffs. But today's video is actually going to be about something that came out either around the time that I made the video or shortly before, shortly after. I think it was actually before, but I didn't know that feature too well. I know people came out with videos, but it still didn't really help me too much. There are two features. One I did figure out, pretty straightforward, pretty simple, and that's also really a good feature. The other feature I couldn't figure out was the inherit feature, the one up here. After inheritance, the cultivation attributes of the original Blazon will disappear. Okay. Then use the inheritance feature. You can transfer the cultivation attributes of a max level Blazon called the original Blazon to another max level Blazon called the inherited Blazon. The inherited Blazon will receive the cultivation attributes of the original Blazon, and the original Blazon's cultivation attributes will disappear. If both Blazons have been cultivated, their attribute enhancement ratio will be swapped. So it's all about the ratios, and you'll see that here in a minute. The thing to keep in mind is when you do an inheriting or an inheritance, then you will give up a small percentage of the cultivation that you've done. But first we need to get into the cultivation part, because that's what you're doing. You inheriting the cultivation into a new Blazon. So let's get back out. First of all, I need some Blazons. Do have a small chest available. Right about here. And so how to cultivate or how to do the cultivation is you need to go into the smelting first in order to get the crystals. So first you need to select the filters before you can hit the auto select, and the selection up here is the previous one that you've used if you have. So what I've used before was ranged, ground, and siege. I left the mounted unchecked because I wanted to save the monster Blazons for monster hunting. Otherwise, all of these for the ground, archer, and siege. And here, select all of them as well. For the buff types, I do want to save attack, defense, and HP. I want to get rid of the capacity and the load. So here you want to select the reinforcing, monster, and Aurelian overall. And then it selects, I don't have a whole lot right now, but that's going to be enough for video purposes. So I can do auto select. It will only select the ones that are not locked, that don't have the lock on. So I can do smelt, and I'm getting 20 Blazon crystals out of that. So now that we have Blazon crystals, we can go into our Blazons, and in order to cultivate a Blazon, the Blazon needs to be at level 20. So I have a few at level 20, as you can see. And I am going to, okay, I haven't cultivated this one yet. It's still at 0%. So let's cultivate this one. I know PvP always should go first, but this is a beautiful Blazon, has all four with the best attributes for the specific one. It's Soul, which is monster, and then this is all monster. So I'm going to cultivate this one, since it's only 2 anyways. So I'm going to cultivate it once, since it costs me 10 cultivation stones, and then also some refining stones. And before you confirm, you can see if you actually like what you're getting or not. So nothing is red. I'm getting positive 600, so that's pretty decent. I'm going to confirm. And then I can cultivate one more time. Although after that I'm out. And I'm getting positive 500, so this is pretty nice. If you are getting more negative than you get positive, I probably would cancel it. So in this case, I'm of course gonna confirm, and I have a few extra buffs on my monster Blazons. So 0.2, 0.5, 0.4, of course it's not a whole lot. As you can see, cultivation does take a lot of Blazons. So once you have your Blazons all maxed out, which for most of us is not for a long time, you don't want to, go crazy on the cultivation. If you kind of switch up between cultivation and leveling up your Blazons, you can do that. But I wouldn't go crazy on cultivation. So as you see, this is barely cultivated. I think the one that I have cultivated the most currently is this one right here. I think this was the first Blazon that I got a clean sweep on it. And yes, the universal buffs are not the strongest ones, I get that, but they're always active. If you've seen my previous Blazon video, I kind of went over the, benefits of the universal part versus using a defending siege machine attack or attacking siege machine attack. So if it's defending, it's only when defending. If it's attacking, it's only when attacking. So if you are in battle and you don't have the time to switch between Blazons, having the universal Blazon is kind of helpful, because when you have rallies out and you're being attacked, you're kind of good on both ends. You have buffs for your attacking marches and buffs for your keep, for your troops at home. Okay, sidetracking here. We were doing cultivation, and oh yeah, I was just showing the max cultivation that I have. So it's not even half. It is a process. It is slow moving. But here's 4%, 4, 6, 6. So you see the percentage is really not a whole lot. But if I were to transfer these cultivations to, let's keep these numbers in mind, to this Blazon right here. No, not this one. This one right here, 19, 19, 23, 26. My cultivation would go up maybe to, I'm not quite sure, maybe 9 to 10% plus minus just from the siege, because it is a ratio, as I was pointing out earlier, enhancement ratios. It all depends on the base buffs that your Blazon has, so 19%, 23%, 26% versus 11%, 15%, 16%. So these base stats matter in order for your cultivation to be even stronger for you. Hopefully that made sense, but I can show you here in a minute too, and it might be helpful. Alright, so I'm going to use a Blazon in my ground. Let's say this one right here. This one has some minor cultivation on it. It has 1.1, 1%, 1.8, and 2.4%. So let's keep these numbers in mind. And I'm going to use this one. So what you need to do first now in order to do the inheriting feature, so now we're getting to the inheriting. What you need to do first, you need to remove this from your preset, and you need to save it. You need to save it that way. So the preset that I have it on is my sacrifice, which is my defense. My defense is in my slot 1. You just have to remember where you have things, right? So I actually did name my slots. This is defense, this is offense, and this is, okay, empty. So I need to save it over my defensive slot right here, because right now it is saved as a full set, but I need to remove this. So I need to make sure this stays removed, so I can go back on my current because that's what I have, and I can save it. And now I can select the slot that I'm going to be saving it to. And this is number 1, so I'm going to... I wish Evony actually was to give me the label that I put on here as defense or offense or whatever you name it, so that would be nice for you to actually remember where you want to put this. So this is slot 1. Gonna save that over my slot 1. Now this is not there anymore. And the other, actually, let's go just to see how this works, because you can do it from ground to ranged, ground to mountain. You can cross inherit as you like. It doesn't have to be just within the ground. So I can go to my mounted, go to this one right here, the one that I just, oh no, this one we just added some. Okay, let's not use this, because it would just swap and I don't need to swap. Let's just use this one, because this will give us also a good view on the increase of cultivation ratios, as I was mentioning. So I'm gonna take this one off. Actually, I'm gonna unlock this first so I know which one it is. I'm gonna unlock this, and then I'm gonna remove, and I'm gonna show you why you need to unlock it here in a minute. So this is my soul. My soul is my monster. It's right here. This is my offense, and then this is empty. So this is the current one, so I'm going to save this to my monster. So this is the one that I want to inherit. Now we're going into the inherit feature. And for the original Blazon, it needs to be a Blazon that is cultivated, right? Because you're inheriting the cultivation from this Blazon to this Blazon. So I'm going to go in here, and here I have a Blazon. This is the one that I was showing you. This is the in the ground. This is ground attack. And it has the 1.1, 1%, 1.8, and 2.4. So I cannot select it because it needs to be unlocked. Why Evony is being so complicated? Well, it's because it's Evony, right? So you need to unlock it, then you can select it. For this one, the same thing. So I already unlocked it, as I did show you. It's the 19%, 19, 20, and 15. It has pretty high percentages, so I can select this one. And here you can compare 11, 11, 19, 19, and then 19, 19, 20, 15. So the percentages here will now change in accordance to the ratios of the percentages here. That's what I meant with the ratios. So the cultivation value right here will transfer over right here once I hit inherit. So from 1.11, what was it? 1.2, 1.4, something like that, and 2.2 is these are the numbers I got, because the base values are higher minus the last one. The last one is smaller. So this was 2.4 and now it's 9.1. 1.9, sorry. I hope this helped. You understand what the ratio part means. The higher these values are, the better the cultivation values are going to be. Alright, so I'm going to switch that back, but I can't just inherit because this one doesn't have any cultivation, so I need to... This is really just for showing purposes. So I'm going to switch that back, and now what I can select is the one that is cultivated, the one that I actually did the inheriting to, and that is my mounted blazon, the soul. So I'm going to select this, and since I didn't unlock any other ones, this is the one that I used. It's easy to identify. So I'm going to just switch that back, and the values that I have up here, I'm going to switch back over to the other blazon. Now, I did that to show you guys that you are losing cultivation value when you are cultivating, when you are inheriting the cultivation. If you remember, this was 1.1, this was 1, this was 1.8, and then 2.4. So you are losing 0.1%. Maybe it's 0.05%, I'm not quite sure because I did it twice. But overall it is 0.1%. Flip it over and flip it back. Hopefully that made sense. Okay, so once I did the cultivation inheriting, I'm done with that. I'm satisfied with that. I can equip that piece again, and make sure you lock this piece again so that you don't accidentally use it to level up another blazon. So I'm going to equip it. Now you need to save it again. So that's why it is even more tedious than blazons were before. So this is my monster set. Oh, current, save, monster, and over here. The more you do it, the easier it gets, but still way too many steps because Evony, right? So lock it, equip. This is the one. And now save it because it is not saved on your preset. That is the sacrifice on my defense. Alright. Make sure you follow all these steps, otherwise you end up going into battle without your full blazon set, because you didn't save it after the inheriting feature. And I get it, you don't do the inheriting all the time, but it just, you know, all these extra steps that you need to take to make sure that everything is back in place. So when do you want to use the inheriting feature? Let's say you're going to be done with Battlefield for a while. You're not going to fight SVS, you're always going to be working or something, or you just don't really want to fight anymore, and you just want to chillax and, you know, do some monsters. I know, it's not the best example, but maybe it helps you understand when you want to use the feature. You have an excellent piece of cultivation. I know this is not excellent, but this is a good piece of cultivation right here. And I don't need my siege anymore. Then I want to strengthen my monster hunting march. Then I can switch it all over to this piece right here and get some more cultivation out of this. Get some more buffs for monster hunting. Is that the best way of using it? I'm not quite sure, but if you do have a piece of equipment cultivated that you then have improved to something else, let's look at this one for example. This is all positive for attacking purposes, but let's say I eventually get a new soul light blazon, and for monster hunting, and I get mounted troop attack on monsters ×4. But I have cultivated this one, so I have done some cultivation here. What I can do is I can inherit the cultivation from here to my brand new blazon, and then I can disassemble this or whatever I want to do with this if I don't like this anymore, and then have the new blazon with the cultivation that I already used the crystals for, and use it there. If you have smarter ways of using the inheriting feature, let's say you have done some accidental cultivation on a piece and you don't like it as much, you can put it on a different piece. But yeah, if you have smarter ways of using the inheriting feature, let us know in the comments. So yeah, I think this actually hopefully covered everything that I didn't cover in my first video on the Blazons. So if you still have questions on Blazons, make sure you watch the first video on Blazons, because I go into detail on everything about all of your Blazons besides the smelting function as well as the inheriting function. So this is now something that I understand completely. I didn't understand it before because I always was faced with a blank sheet right here and I didn't know how to really get this. Because it doesn't really tell you, honestly, what do I need to do here. The information button right here doesn't tell you that you need to unlock and take it off your preset. So hopefully this helped you. Share with your alliance if it helped you. Maybe it'll help them get more buffs, do the cultivation, get the cultivation on better Blazons, and so on. Like if you did, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in the next round.